said it, I didn't. Get what's prescribed for you, sucker. Godfather of the race is the nigga that count the big faces. I got to go with the church and go flirt with the girls in the cute skirt. Check.
In today's video, I will be popping my shit unapologetically. Today's video is for the message to the black man. Today's video, I will be talking about culture vultures and how that works. I will be talking about industries. I will be talking about strategies and power plays that are used by other minority groups. Yeah, I want to get to the bottom of this shit. I want to talk about it, and yeah, let's get it.
It's opportunistic. Yeah, I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
So, in the founding years of the United States, European whites came to America with one goal in mind, and that was to build aristocracy within a capitalistic democracy on the backs of blacks. So these people came here with one thing in mind, and that was to build a nation for whites by whites. You know what I'm saying? And this still goes on today. Obviously, we all know that blacks were brought here for labor. So they don't see them in, black folks were never seen in a management position unless it was to oversee other slaves. You know what I mean? Or a coach or a manager or something like, you know what I mean? To where it's never gonna be the top of the top. It's never gonna be, you know, 32 teams, and out of 32 teams, 15 out of the NFL teams are black owned. That shit is never gonna happen. This is a white world, okay? And this is not no racist shit. This is some real shit. Racist means to hold another group back from progressing. I'm not holding nobody back from progressing. I want my people to know that in the Genesis, that before slavery, we were kings, we were queens, you know what I'm saying? We were skilled in all aspects of life. And skilled in all aspects of life. So today, I want to pop my shit. I want to talk about different videos. I want to go ahead and talk about how, you know, the Vlad TVs are exploiting, you know, black culture. I want to talk about the Adam 22s. You know what I mean? I want to talk about how, you know, white kids are so fascinated, so mesmerized with the culture that they literally monetize the culture. You know what I mean? I want to talk about, and I'm not what I want to talk about in detail. I just want to pop my shit and say that if you look at the N1, you know, documentary, you know, here it is. These talented, you know, NBA players, could have been NBA players, better than a lot of NBA players, if you want to ask me, that never got the chance to really fulfill their prophecy. So now they went to the street ball. Long story short, they monetized and won and made it $1 million business, and they monetized other people's sports, a black culture. White men did this. But I'm just saying, we got to be able to, you know, understand a culture vulture. Someone who comes in, doesn't appreciate the culture, doesn't really say, okay, these dudes are playing basketball, let me go ahead and give them equity in this business, so that way, you know what I mean, like, we're literally not like coming in and monetizing the culture. And hey, listen, do I blame them for knowing something that other people didn't know? I don't, but I want to be able to understand. I want people to understand that, you know, they can't do it for themselves and their own culture, so they come and they monetize other people's culture, right?
It's opportunistic. Yeah, I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
And then if you really study the Greeks, right? A lot of Greek philosophers already were speaking on the fact that everything came from Kemet.
First of all, you cannot study the Egyptians as an archaeologist or as an astronomer or as a philosopher or as an anthropologist. You must put it all together because they put it all together. If you read what the Greeks said, not what we think, but if you read what the Greeks said, they said They got everything from Egypt. They got all their knowledge from Egypt. Pythagoras spent 15 years in Egypt. And what did he have to do? He probably had to spend 5 years convincing them that he was worthy to get the knowledge that they had. Remember, knowledge was power. Knowledge was sacred. Knowledge was something you just didn't publish in the newspapers. Knowledge was guarded very closely because it was of tremendous value. You wouldn't give it to anybody. You would give it to somebody who was willing to shave his head and be a penitent for 5 years, and then you might start to tell him things. Okay? And the Greeks did this. Pythagoras did this. Other Greeks did this. And they said that they got all their knowledge from the Egyptians. Now, when did we come up with the idea that the Greeks created everything from scratch? Well, believe it or not, it happened in the 18th and 19th century. And it's an unfortunate fact of life that Romanticism, which has many great things about it, also has a dark side, which has to do with racism. And in the 18th and 19th century, it was decided that it was just not appropriate for all this knowledge to come from an African country. Where would that knowledge, if it survived to the time of the Roman Empire, where would it have been kept? Yes. In Alexandria, in the museum, the library at Alexandria. And what happened to the library? It was burned in a war, okay? And at that point, what happened to those books that were burned? If they were written in living languages, there was a scholar someplace who had memorized the book and could just write it down again. But if it was in a dead language, like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, end of story. Can't be reconstructed.
As we continue off, if we look more into the concept of the Trojan horse, I believe the saying goes, do not trust your enemies who bring you presents. They could very well be playing tricks. The origin is beware of Greeks bearing gifts. So I look at this concept and I know off top that on the universal level, European country has been the absolute #1 destruction to blacks and Africans and many other places on the planet. They are our #1 enemy. Simply trading goods back in the days, spices, knowledge, letting these people come into Africa, right, started a chain link of bullshit. I like to look at things for what they are.
All right, this is what I want to say. I want to say, as far as hating white people or whatever, I don't hate all white people, but it's safe to assume, because of history, that all white people are out to get you. It's just, that's safe. It's like, and they say that the best teacher of the future is the past. If in the past all these white men was doing all this stuff to me, it'd be dumb for me to be thinking he my friend and come and hug him and embrace him, because then I'm giving him the chance to kill me. As a black man in this society and knowing how things are going on, it's safe for you to assume that any man, that white man is out to get you. See, it's nothing wrong with being prejudiced, because we all prejudge. You prejudge food before you eat it. You know what I mean? When you want to go to the store, you prejudge the outfit before you put it on. You see what I'm saying? So it's safe to prejudge. You have to know that every brother is not a brother and every other is not a other, but you must know who your enemy is. And on a major scale, on a worldwide scale, the white man is my enemy.
Yeah, mic check. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you some game that your pappy didn't give you or your mammy didn't tell you. If you go study Queen Elizabeth, right, you know that the biggest diamond ever be discovered was in the Congo of Africa. If you go look at her crown and you go look at her jewels, you go look at her you know what I'm saying? See, nowadays you got rappers that wear, you know what I'm saying, what everybody else wearing. There's no style, there's no originality nowadays. This lady walking around with the biggest diamond out of Africa, you know what I'm saying? And you know, all the fine things were took. I believe the devil name was Leopold, and this cracker came over to Africa and completely like a parasite, entering the system and going from the heart to the lungs to the brain, every organ, and doing complete damage, right? That is a devil, right? And so we have to look at, you know what I'm saying, the carnage and the hate that's in these people, man. Now again, not all of them, you know what I mean? But we also have to look at, you know, our style too. And we also have to appreciate, you know what I'm saying, the gods that's laid the game down, and, you know, people that came in and explains why a certain style is being rocked and why you need to represent yourself. For instance, you know what I'm saying, like Mr. T back in the day. You know Mr. T back in the days. If you go study Mr. T gives the game away. He breaks down why he rocks so much jewelry, why, and particularly gold.
In Africa, they call themselves the Mandinka warriors. They wear their hair in this fashion. They wear feathered earrings. They wear diamond and gold. They wear the finest there is. And I am proud to be a descendant of the people. And that's the reason why I wear this here. And the changes in gold is symbolic of my struggle, because my ancestors, we was brought over here, we was shackled by our wrists and our necks and ankles. But now I turn those shackles into gold, and that offends people. People ask me and say, do that gold get heavy? Nobody asks my ancestors, do those changes get heavy on their neck?
Once we understand who our enemy is, right, then we can start to gain knowledge of self. And this is where, you know, the great Elijah Muhammad comes into play. The great Malcolm X comes into play. The great Louis Farrakhan comes into play. You know what I'm saying? George Jackson, Nipsey Hussle, you know what I'm saying? Khalid Muhammad, you know what I'm saying? Abu Bakr the Explorer. All these people that's laid the game down. Even Tupac Shakur, you know what I'm saying, Machiavelli came in and gave the game to where they understood like who the enemy was. And once you understand who the enemy is, then you can come back and you can play chess in the correct way, right? But if you don't know yourself, if you don't know a pawn from a bishop from a goddamn queen or a king, you're not gonna know where you stand. You know what I'm saying? You got to be smart enough to understand what I'm trying to get at. If you're a racist man, or if you're a racist woman, if you trying to stop people from progressing and moving forward as a group of minorities or a group of people that came from a different country, then you are a racist son of a bitch. And I have no sympathy for you. I got no love for you. And I'm ready to go to war with your ass. I appreciate y'all tapping in. One love.
If the game is good, like he said, I didn't take it, try to change it, try to say, well, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to take this game. Thank you for the kickstart that you gave me. I stood through from the beginning to the end. Let me repeat it again. From the beginning to the end. Focus. Y'all that knew him, that didn't follow, didn't trust his word, look at me now. And where you at? Suckers.